Nobody's using this tonight, no. We're just.
Okay. We ready to start back? Now we're going into the board meeting, right?
No, you didn't,
Need to close it out.
that's where, if you're not gonna do budget more, you need to go ahead and open it back up and then officially close it out. And then-
Okay, we'll open up the, budget workshop back. Any more public participation real quick?
I move we, close the budget meeting.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Thomas to, adjourn the budget workshop. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we'll start the board meeting. I'll call the board meeting of the Gilchrist County, Commissioners to order. It's, 4:34, August the 4th, 2025. I have asked, Commissioner Martin to lead our minds in prayer. I've asked, Commissioner Sharon Langford to lead us in the pledge of the flag. So if you'll silence your devices, if you haven't already, we'll get started.
All right, dear Lord, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to gather as commissioners and as a community to, discuss the business of this county and and for the, knowledge that we learned in the budget workshop part of it. We just ask now, dear Lord, that you'd be with us as we conduct county business, that you give us the guidance that we need to do what's right, what's correct in the eye of the citizens, and what would be pleasing to you and what would be best for the county, dear Lord. We just ask that. We ask that you be with our first responders and our EMS and all the people and all our police officers. Also, dear Lord, we ask that you just be with the United States as there's always turmoil around the world and things are up and down. Give us the guidance, give our leaders the guidance they need to direct us in a way that would be pleasing to you. We just thank you for the rain we've been receiving. It helps our crops and yards and trees and everything else to grow. And so we just now ask that you be with us through the rest of this meeting. We ask these things in your wonderful name, dear Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Is there any changes? No changes? We have a motion by Commissioner Thomas to approve the agenda as presented and a second by Commissioner Bill Martin. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Everyone had a chance to look at the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Chairman, if I may, for you. On the travel on EMS, I think the sheet we put in here said $2,600. It should have been $2,800, so we just need to make that correction.
Okay. The travel request will go from 2,600 to 2,800. Everybody okay with that? Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Sharon Langford and a second by Commissioner Darrell Smith to approve the consent agenda with the change on the travel request. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, we are down to public participation. You will have an opportunity to speak now, and at the end of the meeting, you'll have another opportunity. So if there's anybody who would like to speak, come on up, Mr. Anderson. Just state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Anderson. I'm want to talk to this body about an issue that I'm having on our property. By the way, I do in advance want to thank Commissioner Langford, Commissioner Smith, who both reached out to me during this process, as well as County Administrator Crosby, who's probably gotten a few not necessarily so friendly emails from me in the process. We have 10 acres and we are in the process, my wife and I are building a lean-to to cover our boat that we have. It's attached to a 12-foot by 24-foot shed that's hurricane bolted into the ground. I started construction of this, got 6x6 posts were concreted in place, a 2x8, double 2x8 header, everything is probably safer and more secure than most of the structures in the county. On November 20th, the building department put a stop work order, on my property saying I could no longer do this without getting a structural engineer to do a wind upload assessment. I understand the need to have safe, secure facilities, that we don't want people building junk all across the county. The problem I'm running into is, again, this is a boat lean-to. This is not a house. This is not anything that anyone could live under. There's no plumbing going into this. And, it's cost me, I'll guess on the high side, $1,000 total in materials. And that includes the delivery fee from Tri-County Metals to bring the metals over and the wood that I got as well. At this point, all I have left to do is put the purlins on the roof on, and I've been at a standstill, since November. I've reached out to engineers. Engineers are not willing to do anything because A, it's a lean-to and not worth their time and effort, and B, understandably from their end, it's already partially constructed. It's probably about 80% constructed, so no engineer wants to assign their name to something that they were not there from moment number one. I do know other counties have similar measures, ordinances on their in their laws that allow people for a non-residential accessory building on the property to be able to build that with without having to go through the permitting process. I would hope this body does the same. I know that Commissioner Langford, you have been in the process of working on that with colleagues in Columbia County. And if anyone with the board can help me get this built so I can protect my investment, so I can keep paying y'all registration for my boat for every couple of years.
Yeah, this was actually on my, my list to talk about during, my commissioner's report, because, it's been a while.
It has, but I went and talked to Columbia County and got some information, and I
We need-
did have a meeting with Bobby, and I've sat down with Gene, the building inspector, and, right now I'm waiting on Gene to get back with me to set up a meeting so we can talk about it. What I was trying to do is gather all the information and talk with Gene and Bobby, put it all together, and then present a recommendation to the board.
Right, I mean,
We haven't got that far yet, but that's, that's in the plan. There was a House bill that was presented, House Bill 1035. It made it through the first committee, and then it got kicked out in the second committee. I talked to, Mr. Johnson, Cracker about it the other night. He said he would follow up on it and see why it didn't get passed. They were wanting to up the state from 5,000 to 7,500. It got kicked out for some reason. He said he would try to find out why for me. But in Columbia County, they don't charge you a permit, no engineering, nothing, of up to $5,000.
was that something we can just do then? I mean,
Well, we're gonna have to sit down and talk about it, I guess, and
I mean, if we can we just follow the state guideline on that? Why can't we do that?
that's what Columbia County does.
Well, I mean, I've.
Actually, they were at 4, and the state was 5, and they had a little controversy with their employees saying, well, do we do this or we do this? So they just changed theirs to.
I don't have a problem just
Bobby,
following
did you
the
have a
state
comment?
guideline.
Well, I think, first off, I don't want anybody to think I'm against it. We as staff, unless we have a ruling that the board's passed, we have to follow the ruling we have. So,
Right.
it's actually, I think it's in the building code. It's not a Florida statute. They were trying to create a statute that would circumvent the building code a little bit, as you spoke about. But there is some guidelines, within the building code. So, and I don't remember exactly, but I think up to a certain amount, the
5,000?
commission, in this case, serving as the planning board, can approve up to that amount and whatever amount they want to pick.
Mhm.
And I think that maximum amount is $5,000,
Yep.
which we all know $5,000 doesn't go near as far as it used to go.
So
for sure.
so the state building code says you still have to get it approved?
You would have to approve it as a board, and I would have to double check or defer to Mr. Lang, and he may know sitting right here. I don't know how many, or if, I know a public meeting would be required, how many or what they require for advertising as far as like.
So Columbia County requires them to come before the board every time? they
No,
want
no,
to-
no, 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 you would have to approve the ruling in the ordinance
Yeah.
so that we could do it. No, they would never come back.
Well, can we go ahead and do that today then? Just
No.
go ahead.
No. It has
Has to
to
be
be advertised.
It'd have to be, in other words, we would have to change our.
Can we advertise it?
Now, I'll be happy to get a little bit more involved and try to.
There's some other
expedite.
issues going on here too, because this has been quite a long time since I looked at this. But it was about the time when Tommy started looking at that as well. And some of the folks that I talked with said it was hard to police this because it was hard to determine the $5,000 that, are the materials donated to you? Did you go buy it? Are you gonna show an invoice to somebody? Who's gonna police and regulate this?
Well,
Or are you just gonna take an applicant's?
Yeah.
I didn't spend but $5,000 on this particular thing.
Here's what Columbia County told me, Mr. Coney told me.
Hmm.
He said what they do is if you've got a project like he does, they ask him to keep up with his receipts. If nobody complains, the neighbor don't turn him in and nobody says nothing, they just let him do what he did, okay? If they get a complaint, they go out and say, Mr. Anderson, how much did this cost? And you say, well, I got a receipt here from Tri-County Metals, I got my money, here's what I got in it right now. And if it's not over $5,000, then he don't need nothing. Now, if he goes to do it, he don't have to go get a permit to get started or nothing else. But if some way they can prove that he went
I was
above
gonna
and
say,
beyond.
what do you
the
do if it goes
5,000?
over the 5,000?
Do what?
What if you inadvertently go over the 5,000? How do
Then
they
you
handle
would,
that?
you'd have to go back. and
Then
get
you
your
got stopped and you gotta go in and.
But I think what he said, it's not based on us going out and checking, it's based on, like a neighbor turning in or somebody like that. It's not like they're gonna go around and say, oh, I see a new building popped up.
No, they don't stop and ask no questions. He said,
Nope.
we don't ask no questions unless we get a complaint. And then.
And I would like us to do it that way.
Mr. Chairman, but you mind if I ask Mr. Anderson a question?
Sure.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. If you don't want to answer it, just say I don't want to answer it right now, because that is one of the things that we discussed. So if we see
That's right.
something being built, how do we know what that cost is without stopping and questioning you or asking you questions, okay? In fairness to you, one of the things that we kind of discussed early, and we need to go back and discuss this, would be, we would like you to come get a permit, a no-fee permit, but come in, do the permit, and provide the cost and that, so that we could record that in our records. So when we ride by your home and you're building that, we know, okay, we know, and we're not stopping and harassing you saying, you know, and that was one of the things we talked about. I guess what my question to you is, as a citizen, would you would you be comfortable with that?
Part of me would say you're penalizing people who are just living on their property and making it jump through hoops because somebody might break the law. You know,
Right.
it's, let's all go to jail because somebody may commit a crime. That said, since it's been 8 months since I've been able to make any progress on this, if I gotta take some time off from work like I'm doing now for this meeting to go fill in, sign my name on a bit of paper and say, here's the receipt so I can build this, I'm willing to go through that. You know,
We could actually even do it online to make it more convenient.
But
for people.
if the state don't require that, you said Columbia County, they don't do it that way.
Well, we
Why don't
have
make it
Brandon
easy?
Stubbs from
Easier for
Columbia.
the
He's
citizens.
familiar with this. I think he.
We need to make it
makes
easier
fun.
for the citizens.
Well, here's the other issue Mr. Anderson addressed a little bit. He's being required to get an engineer and an architect and all that kind of. These engineers are making a fortune.
They are.
One thing, charging a fortune, and you can't get somebody to do it. I mean, you call, I told the one guy, he finally found a person in Zephyr Hills, and it took him like 90 days to get everything done, you know, to go through the process. And so here he is, he's got a project started, and he can't get nobody engineer or wind calculate without it tearing down and start over. So it's kind of a predicament. That's the reason I wanna fix it myself.
And I think in my case, again, and I know I emailed you all when this first happened, so if you feel like digging through your emails and seeing the pictures. When it's completed, you drive past that thing, it is blatantly obvious, it is nowhere near $5,000.
Right.
It's, even given the cost of lumber these days, like I said, I think it was 400 something total for the wood that was delivered, and it was $300-400 for the metal. It will cost me another $100 or so because the 2x4s that I had for purlins that are sitting in my yard have now all gotten even twistier and wonkier than they were when we first bought them. But it would still, you know, I don't think it would hit 1,000, and if it did, it would barely hit 1,000. That includes
Right.
concrete I bought in the whole 9 yards. I did get one engineer to say, I want to say $775. And not that this means anything to y'all, but I was looking at your fund balance and everything else. I don't know what the permit is, but y'all don't get none of that 775. I could understand if it was a way of,
The one-
helping the books a little bit, but.
One guy mentioned it cost him $1,500 to get.
And, in a couple of years, my wife and I are planning on building a house on our property. And yeah, by all means, permits, the whole nine, because that's a structure that people are gonna live in. People could get hurt if you do it shoddily. The only way this thing is gonna get anybody hurt is if it actually happens to fall down while I'm driving my truck with the boat behind it, and it falls at that exact moment in time. Beyond that, again, it's 6x6 is concreted into the ground. I've got lag bolts, I got all kinds of stuff that, my father-in-law thought I was a nut for doing that much.
But
Is there any way, Bob, Mr. Crosby, we can, you can bring us what the state law is? That way at least I can see in writing what the state law is and we can make a decision on what to do?
Well, why don't you let us do this? We'll put together some information, and I think our next meeting is at August 18th. Are we on track for that day? Okay. Let's try to put together some information, and I'll place it on my agenda so we can talk about it, but we will actually have, we'll have the building code with us. It says what we can do. Mr. Lang and I'll be able to work together and tell you what you need to do as a board to get this in place. And then at that point, y'all can instruct us on how you want us to move forward. And,
We need to
because,
move on it.
I'm trying to go by part of what I remember from several months ago as he said.
Yeah, I don't know how this got dropped because we actually
I don't
did
e-
research on this.
No,
And
But
Tommy
we'll-
was working on it and then it kind of.
we need to move on it.
But we'll
I've
have
been
that.
waiting on,
at
I've
the
been waiting
meeting
on
on
Gene
the
to get back.
18th.
Well, I think we just need to do it. We need to have the state guidelines in front of us and
We can have all that with us. I mean, we can even possibly have a sample of what the ordinance would be, or what language that would be in the ordinance when we get here on the 18th.
yeah.
I'm sorry, you haven't been recognized by the chair.
Get Columbia counties and see what they're doing.
Do what?
I said she wasn't recognized by the chair. She can't just yell out like that.
But we can
Yeah.
get Columbia counties and see how theirs is worded.
Yeah, well,
I think we have that. I think we pulled on it.
Yeah.
I think we have.
Right.
I think there's some language already we have to.
There is.
And we need to do
There
it.
is.
I have a copy of what they do.
Chair Brandon Stowe, the North Florida Professional Services. I'm only coming to say this because I spent 8 years as a community development coordinator for Columbia County, and so very familiar with this process and what Columbia County did. And what you're referring to is the conflict. The conflict comes out of the language in there that they wrote, which was that all construction with a cost for the same does not exceed $4,000 unless otherwise required by the Florida Building Codes. And then the way they adopted their language was a conflict between the 4,000 and the 5,000 in the building code. So that's what they were talking about.
Yeah, they changed it from 4 to 5,
Correct. And
because
so
that way it was. right
Matches.
in order to provide that exemption, there's a section in the code of ordinances that deals with permitting under building code. And so that's where you actually put that exemption in.
Okay.
So yeah, it's actually not that difficult to add it. We could definitely.
We need to add
I
it
don't
then.
know, maybe I can help them, Mr. Lang.
Well, we'll have it back by the 18th, and then
Yeah,
that way we
That'd be
can.
good.
And, but the one thing I will caution, just because I've done floodplain management and, for a long time, this does not exempt any building that's within a special flood hazard area. So what you may want to put in there that Columbia doesn't, I would advise, is, well, something in there that basically says unless otherwise stated or otherwise not in a special flood hazard area, permits under a certain amount, 5,000, whatever y'all.
Cause that's what the state says about me.
Federal, that's your federal
Right,
code.
we need to make that.
Under FEMA and under your ISO, when you, like your, community rating and all that. stuff.
in a floodplain.
Right.
Yeah, so if you don't issue permits, and you don't necessarily have to issue a building permit, but you do have to issue them like a stormwater permit or something in lieu of that building permit, but it's just easier to have them get the building permit, because then you have all the other requirements you gotta do, like the elevation certificate or anything like that you have to do. So I'll just, so you don't conflict with federal statute on that, part of I was just adding some language that says, you're exempt from the building code except if your property or your structure allows to be in special project area.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Since he's familiar with it, and get the information.
Yep. I would like to sit down with Gene again too, because he plays an important role in this, because he is the building.
It was Yeah, you need to be included too, but we need to move on it.
Yeah, I agree,
Need to do it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anderson and Miss Anderson. Any more public participation? Okay, we're gonna move on to the county administrator. No, constitutional law. I don't see any constitutional laws. County administrator.
Yes, sir. My agenda starts on item number 6 under general. It's a trailer donation. As you know, we received those RVs. We've received several through the storm, but originally 2 of those were requested to be able to use for emergency events. One for the Gilchrist County Sheriff's Office and one for EMS fire if needed. Under Sheriff Willis has sent us a request stating that they would like to take possession of one of those RV campers. So all we need is a motion for you to approve that we give one to them. We haven't had a request for one in some time, and all the storms are past. And as I said, they were kind of requested in 2 lots, 2 to support emergency services and the remainders to support citizens. But
Will that still be within the rules and regulations that we got them under, that I thought they had to be used for residents that lost their homes? That's not the case.
technically, the way those were, they were provided for storms, but the way the paperwork is, they just gave them to us. We could have took every one of them in Hard Springs and turned them into rentals.
Can you send us the email where they all at, so we have an updated email?
I make a motion that we approve transfer to the sheriff's office.
Second.
Okay, just a second. I have a motion from Commissioner Smith and a second from Commissioner Sharon Langford to allow the sheriff department to take possession of one of the RVs. Okay, Mr. Smith?
So Ralph Smith, Emergency Management, just to answer your question, we only have 2, and we will have 1 after this.
Yeah, can you email me who got them all?
Yes,
That way, yeah,
Yes, ma'am, we can.
thank
do
you.
We have that.
Yeah.
Good.
Or where they're at, thank you.
Okay, any more discussion?
I am not against them getting one. My problem is we got storm season coming up again. Are we gonna get more? Or is this something that our residents may need for this next storm season?
What are
That's
they
my-
gonna?
And that's what they were for, and that's my only thing is, I always thought they were for residents that needed housing after a storm, and we're gonna have more storms. Now, I'm not opposed to anybody getting one who needs it and is gonna use it, but I want it to be used.
Didn't you
for
say
my-
emergency management has one also?
Yes, ma'am.
Why
So-
can't they just share then?
so
And we have
Ralph
one,
Smith, Emergency Management. So before we received the storms last year, I was at a conference in St. Augustine, and the state had a bunch of these trailers that were trying to get rid of. And I called the sheriff and said, hey, they're looking to get rid of some of these trailers. They used them during Hurricane Ian. And sheriff's like, yes, we'd love to have one for when we deploy, we're self-sufficient. But I would love to have one for fire rescue and emergency management. We could do it also for when we deploy, we're self-sufficient. 6 months rocked around, hadn't received them yet. Hurricane, I believe it was Helene was coming. And they called and said, hey, do you still want your campers? I said, I want them too, and I want 14 more. And that's how this all got. Okay. So this was all.
we got
in the works.
16 total?
And then we only got 14 because we realized we didn't need as many. So this was all in the works before the storms even hit these 2 for this.
Before people needed one.
Yes, sir. So, and like Mr. Bobby said, there's been 0 requests. The last request we did do, it was for.
Now, what do you use yours for? Emergency management, what have we used it for?
we would use it for, if we, so I, like, when I went to Gadsden County, I spent 14 days out there.
Okay,
Instead of having to get a hotel room, I could take the camper with me and stay.
okay,
Did we transfer some to Dixie?
We did.
okay.
So that's the only thing.
Okay, so we can't share with the sheriff's department then?
I mean, we absolutely could, but I may be going to Gadsden County. They may be going to
Okay,
St. Augustine or
The
somewhere
other
else.
thing is, if they had it and we needed it, I'm sure that we could get it to use or whatever we needed it for. Matter of fact, if it come down to the person just flat out didn't have one, we just tell the sheriff's department, we'd like to get it and give it to this person.
If they're willing to do that, I don't have a problem at all with that.
I think they would be. Okay, any more discussion?
I don't care as long as it's being used.
And,
That's
yeah,
right. Well,
I don't
now
want them to sit out there and,
get 'em.
yeah, I want them being used.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to,
but if I only can use it once a year for 7 days, I mean, is that worth,
Well,
instead of giving it to somebody if they need it, during this upcoming hurricane season? We have, the emergency management has one and the sheriff's department will have one.
well, that's where I came in. Like I said, I don't mind them having one, but is it gonna be used, or is it, you're gonna use it 1 week out of the year? And that's gonna keep someone else
Yeah.
from needing who really has a need for a home to move in.
Could we do it contingent upon if there's somebody that needs it during this hurricane
I think you
season?
either need to give it to them or keep it.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be.
That's right.
Because we may go to get it because somebody needs it, and,
And if we have
You know,
another,
what
can't-
it is,
that's right, that's right, that's
for
right.
anything, but what I would say is, we can keep them, we can give them away, but, the thing is you really hope you never need them.
Yeah,
Because if you need them, that means you've had a storm or something bad's happened to somebody else that you're going to support. So you kind of hope you never need them or anyone else needs them either, but we know that's not gonna be the reality, but, and like the one that we have in the county, if we're not using it, somebody needs it worse than we do, we'll be happy, but we'll know what the situation is of the one that we have.
it's something that we could do one of them for the county use, for anybody who needs it. If someone else
That's a
needs
good
it, or,
idea.
Well, that's the way it's kind of been.
But
Well,
we
that's
share
why-
one with the sheriff's department and emergency management, share one and then have the
share
other
one,
one?
and that way and if they need them at the same time, now they stay in a hotel, they just do the same
Yeah.
thing. One of them would.
Ralph, if we have another storm, what's the chance we get 14 more?
0.
We wouldn't get any more?
The program is no longer in effect.
Okay.
My biggest fear is these campers are not built very well, and they're gonna need maintenance. Who's paying for that? I don't wanna be in the camper business.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we really don't need to be holding on to these.
I do not want to be in the camper business.
Yeah. so
Number one, I don't have time to be in the camper business.
No more than we go anywhere. I wish, honestly, I'd rather him stay in a hotel and we,
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing that just because.
we
we
kept
had it.
hoping somebody would come up needing them, but
So, I mean, we gave 5 of them to Dixie, I think, just because we don't want them. I don't want the campers.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's nice to have one in case something happens, I can offer it to someone, but I don't honestly want the campers. It's just something we fell in and we got during the storm, and I don't wanna be in the camper business,
now we're having to deal with it.
so.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Everybody understand the motion? Donate a RV to the sheriff's department. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
it's 5:02.
Do we keep ours under a covered area at least? Like this covered,
No, we don't have a cover area for that camper.
Working on trying to get.
You gotta get permit.
They should keep it under $5,000.
hey, can we park it under the, ag, under the,
We built.
ag center building, under the, rodeo arena? Huh?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
You wanna keep people from driving in and out of there a lot till y'all decide what we're gonna do, till we come back with y'all and decide what you're gonna do. If not, you're just gonna mess up the claim, so
Yeah, does Dixie County need another one?
I'm okay with it. We'll call that.
Yeah. I mean, might be more trouble than it's worth.
I know, if they say yes, they're not hard to transfer.
No, we had a man get his house burnt down, stuff like that, and get him.
But, yeah, we've actually used two for fire.
Who might use it if somebody else has a fire.
Yeah.
Right.
We got a 5 o'clock time, so.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, we do have a time certain at 5 o'clock. Land Development Code Amendment.
Good evening, Chairman of the Board, Raymond Stubbs of North Florida Professional Services. The first item is for the Planning and Zoning Board, it's, LDC 25-02, resolution, PZLPA LDC 2025-18. So recently, we did all the amendments to accessory dwelling units and all that, and, one of the things that we kind of missed was, or had a, I guess a little bit missed, but there was a question about was some of the temporary RV use requirements versus accessory use, and which one took precedence. So what we did was just draft this, kind of clarify things, so that everything reverts back to the accessory structure use, no matter if you have a temporary RV or don't have a temporary RV permit. So if you'd like to, request to read resolution 2025-18 by title only, and then I'll give, a presentation on the, actual changes. Resolution number PZLPH LDC 2025-18. A resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, amending ordinance number 93-01, the Gilchrist County Land Development Code as amended, serving as the Planning and Zoning Board of Gilchrist County, Florida, and the local planning agency of Gilchrist County, Florida, relating to a text amendment to the Gilchrist County Land Development Code pursuant to an application by the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, recommending to the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, approval of the amendment to the Gilchrist County Land Development Code, amending section 7.25.03 entitled Temporary RV Use Permit, revealing all resolutions in conflict, providing for an effective date. So under section 7.25.03, specifically, section D1, that section used to basically say that all properties, in order to get a temporary RV permit, had to be vacant and they could not have any structures on them. But according with the, updated regulations, we changed it so that you could, under certain circumstances, if you met the criteria, have an accessory structure. And one of those was, well, if you're on the river and you can meet the requirements, well, you could probably have maybe a pole bar or something to park your RV under, keep it out of the weather while you're staying there. So what we did was we amended that section to say, and this is section 7.25.03, subsection D1, the subject property must be vacant and located in an agricultural or environmentally sensitive land use district, provided, however, that accessory structure or structures may be permitted on the same parcel of property as the associated temporary RV use, subject to the requirements of accessory structures established in section 7.01 of this code. So in other words, it's given an exemption if you do qualifications in that section. It's just to clean up the old language, make sure people understood that yes, they can have an accessory structure if they have a temporary use permit. Any questions? Yeah.
So basically, before you couldn't have both. You couldn't have
Yeah,
a
it was
structure and
kinda-
RV, but now you can,
Yeah, it's
if
kind
you already
of,
have one accessory there.
questionable, well, if I have a temp RV, can I get an accessory use? And the intent was when the board wanted to do accessory, I said it multiple times, was, yes, I mean, the whole purpose was, if I have a, river lot and I got a temporary use for the summer and I want to be able to park my RV under something to protect it, you know, I could do that. So, you know, just clarifying the code.
It's a good change, it's a good change, clarifies it.
But, you know, if you don't have any.
Still have the 180-day limit in the year.
Correct, yeah, that don't change the fact that they still have 180 days, but, it does provide them with the option to be able to put a accessory dwelling, put an accessory structure on that property. If you have any questions, I'll turn it over to public comment.
And I believe if I read it correctly, you can break that down into 6 30-day periods. Is that the way?
Yeah, you talk about the temporary.
For the 180 days total on the lot, because some people would come up, bring it, take it back home with them, want to come back.
Yeah, there's different regulations. We didn't mess with the actual RV temporary use permit, section, so that didn't change anything to do with, you know, the timeframes or, you know, how they can get permitting and things like that.
Just about the building allows.
Just change, just change that they're allowed to have the accessory structure.
Right.
But yeah, there's up to 5 renewals on a 30-day period.
That's what I was getting at.
And that's regulated by state statute or state building code? The timeframe?
No, that's by this board.
By the board.
Okay.
Now, some of the 180 days is statutory because and that falls into, if you allow somebody to live in something on a piece of property for over 180 days, they legally can homestead it. So.
That's the rub right there.
Yeah.
That's the rub about the day.
Yeah, and so what you don't want is, you don't want people filing homestead for an RV that doesn't meet Florida building code, which doesn't legally meet a definition of a single family dwelling, a mobile home, or a manufactured dwelling.
That's right.
And so you get into an issue, if they file a homestead on an RV, well, you can't just go and kick them off. They got homestead now, and then, you know, they're kicking them out. You have to legally provide, the county has to pay to kick them out and provide them a place to live. And that's not very advantageous for the county or for the citizens. So if you can make it illegal to do so, make sure, you know, you kick them off. You know, so here's a homestead.
Is there any public comment?
I move to pass resolution PZLPA LDC 2025-18.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner, Thomas that we pass resolution 2025-18. Anybody got any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
I guess we gotta wait, is it 5:15? No.
No, 2 minutes.
4 minutes to your next time, sir.
Okay, we'll have to go back to Bobby's for about 3 more minutes.
Yes, sir. The next item is number 7 under 8911. It is, Mr. Henry Howell retired, and the sheriff's office has chose Lieutenant Benita Rowling to be the new 911 coordinator. They normally choose the person, but the board is required to confirm that position.
Yeah,
Motion to approve.
second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Sharon and a second from Commissioner, Smith to approve, Lieutenant Benita Rawlings for our 911 coordinator. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay.
The next item is number 8 under emergency management. Not this past legislative session, but the previous one. The state passed some new, regulations on emergency management directors, which required them to have certain certifications and gave them a time period to get that done. I just want to let everyone know that, Mr. Smith has completed that, and he will be receiving his, penning at the 2026 FIBA Annual Awards
Do
conference.
we need to take action on this or anything?
Ma'am?
Do we need to approve this or anything?
No, ma'am, it's just
Okay.
information for you.
Congratulations, Ron.
Yeah.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Because without that, the ruling was that you would not be allowed to be the emergency management director either, so they came in pretty strict on all of the, counties, it was statewide. The next item is, if you remember, just a few months back, we brought in the debris management service, bids that we received. One of the companies that was approved was Southern Disaster Recovery. We have the contract here. Mr. Lang has reviewed the contract. So we just need approval of the contract for Southern Disaster Recovery. There is no fee to the county unless we use those services.
And they were the lowest bid, qualified bid, one of them.
I don't remember if I can say they were the lowest. I don't think they were, but we look at price plus qualification.
Okay.
And plus the amount of, resources they have is huge. So, and they fell in that, plus they've helped us now with.
Yeah, we
four
dealt with
storms.
them before.
They were chosen through the bid process.
Motion to approve. Okay, I have a motion for Commissioner Thomas. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second for Commissioner Sharon to approve the Southern Disaster Recovery LLC, management company, service contract. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
The next contract is for the same debris management. We always have two contractors, so we just need to approve, I believe that's CARES Environmental Services.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Smith. Do I have a second?
Cares or service?
Okay, I have a second from Commissioner Martin
Service.
to approve the CARES Environmental Systems Incorporated, management contract. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion passed. You want to do one more, or you want to stop for the top 15?
I'll finish mine.
Okay?
Are you all right with that?
Yeah.
The next item, it's sad to let you know, some may know or have heard of him, Mr. Jimmy Golden, who worked for Dixie County, that we had our MOU for our fire safety inspections and plan reviews. Recently his, cancer came back very aggressively, and he has passed away this past week, and he'll have funeral services this, Wednesday. What that does for our county, based on a letter from Dixie County, they do not have anyone to take his place. So we're unable to do the fire safety, life safety plan reviews or inspections.
So they're gonna be looking as well, Dixie? Yeah.
Well, they probably are, but,
Is that something we can do in-house? Can Chief Campbell do that?
No.
What we have done, what we need to do, and when I first came to work for the county, we had a gentleman on our payroll that was on call. He's just on call. We have a gentleman now who can do this for us now. Actually, his name's Mr. Ben Buckner. He lives in the county. Some people may know him. I think he actually does some substituting with the school as well too. But he is a retired, fire chief. He has the plan review certifications and the, inspection certifications, and that's what it is sometimes, is having both certifications. He's willing to take the job, and, what we would do is put him on as a regular W-2 employee. We would only use him when we need him, and he would cost us the same thing as if we were paying Dixie
Okay.
County.
Right.
So it's, as far as dollars, it's a wash, and those dollars are charged to whoever is
Using that
requiring
service.
permit. We're not behind on anything, but we have two jobs right now, and he can start basically as soon as we get his paperwork done. One is the Bell Church. I mean, they're able to build, but they gotta have fire safety before long. And then, of course, the Ag Extension building that we're building is gonna require to have fire safety, and something else could come up. But basically what we wanna do, he wants to be on our payroll. I understand it, as Jimmy Golden was on a payroll, and then we have the liability and all the insurance that goes with it. So, but, he is qualified, he does know what he's doing, and he's right here in the county, and he's pretty much, unless he happened to be on a vacation or something, he's pretty much available anytime we need him for planning.
My only two questions, one is the salary. And, he'll go through, you said the paperwork, background stuff, you'll have a file on that.
Mhm.
Okay. But what do we do, what's the salary you're offering?
The salary is, well, we pay Dixie $100 an hour.
Okay,
So we have to back into his, it won't be a salary, it'll be an hourly rate, cause we've gotta take out the taxes and the
Right.
expense to the county, so I can't tell you.
It's gonna be similar to what we were paying.
It's gonna net $100 is what it's gonna net once the county pays there.
Y'all okay with that?
Same thing we was doing with Mr. Golden.
Same exactly.
I think we're lucky to get somebody.
Well,
Like
you're
that.
lucky to get somebody in this capacity and only have to pay them when you're using them.
Yeah.
Because the
Somebody
dollars
else.
are swapped
Yeah.
out. I
Oh,
mean,
Definitely.
we get that money right back
Yeah.
from the permitting, cause this is only applies to commercial.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Golden had to do the Dollar General out there.
We're gonna miss him.
He was good at
he
what
was
he
very
did,
good.
and he was very prompt.
Yeah.
So what you're asking for is to hire him as life safety fire inspector at a net cost of $100 per hour as needed.
Yes,
Need a motion?
yes, we will need a motion.
I'll make that motion that we hire him for $100 an hour as our life safety fire inspector.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion for Commissioner Martin and a second for Commissioner Thomas to, hire the, fire inspector at $100 an hour and on a call need basis. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
How did you find him, Bobby?
Let's vote again. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all same sign.
Was fortunate.
But we need to send flyers to that few minutes for him, or?
We will, we'll get some and send them as a county because, for that.
Okay.
But, so we have, few of our fire personnel are gonna attend the funeral too, as representing the county as well.
Do we have to do anything to discontinue the MAU with Dixie County?
Not really, because they actually sent a letter telling us they'd no longer be able to provide the services, so the Dixie County actually.
So they're providing
They
notice.
handled it to a
Okay.
letter. I'm gonna put this letter in the file with the contract that we have. we'll make sure Ms. Karen gets a copy so she can put it with hers, but they discontinued the contract basically with their letter.
Okay, we have a 515, orders number 2025-08.
Good evening, Chair, all members of the board, Brandon Stubbs again with North Florida Professional Services. And this is a continuation of the resolution you just adopted. And, I'll bring a redact testimony into this record as well. So the item before you is ordinance number 2025-08. An ordinance of Gilchrist County, Florida, amending ordinance number 93-01, the Gilchrist County Land Development Code as amended, relating to an amendment to the text of the Gilchrist County Land Development Code pursuant to an application LDC 2025-02 by the Board of County Commissioners, recommending to the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County amending section section 7.25.03 entitled Temporary RV Use Permit, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading of ordinance number 2025-08. And, again, any questions, I'm here to answer them. This is the first reading, so because of the content of this ordinance, it will have to come back for second and final reading.
You have to make a motion to approve it since it's the first reading.
Yeah, approve upon first reading, yes, sir.
I move to approve ordinance 2025-08, in the land development code 2025-02. Okay.
Actually,
Or I'm just doing the ordinance, excuse me, ordinance 2025-08.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I got a motion by Bill Martin and a, second by Commissioner Thomas to approve ordinance number 2025-08 and approve it on the first reading. Okay, is any public comment? Okay. I see none. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we got another one at 5:30. Bobby, does that complete your report?
Yes, sir. I'd like to make one statement about the life safety fire inspector as well. he will use his own vehicle, provide his own gas, so all of his costs he pays to the county will not be paying any of that cost. I forgot to make that mention, just so we'll know that.
I don't think we could have got a better deal.
No.
Well, I wanted to be sure, so, you know, if anybody said, wow, that's a lot, but, you know, he's providing a vehicle, he's
Oh,
providing.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Look, we ain't getting somebody to have gas charges from the time it leaves till it
Yeah,
goes home.
that's right.
But that's all the items I have, sir.
Okay, Mr. Attorney, you wanna do your report?
I do. First thing I have up is a, discussion, regarding, email that I received from a law firm, that wanted us to join in on, or was asking for the board to review or consider regarding a potential lawsuit challenging Senate Bill, 180. I think that the email exactly speaks for itself, but apparently, and I see some things that I think are probably wrong with this, but it might be something that the board doesn't want to get involved in to try to challenge a statewide thing that's been supported by Governor DeSantis and all these, different folks that are backing this thing. But apparently, they passed,
Senate Bill 180.
well, that, what it did was though, it's nunc pro nunc, it actually goes back and commenced on August the 1st, 2024, runs through October the 1st of 2027. It bans local moratorium on construction, reconstruction, or redevelopment of property that's damaged by a hurricane, which broadly spoken touches everything in the state of Florida essentially. And a lot of these, cities are saying that that is, too broad. And so they sent that email to me and I put it on the agenda for you to review. And that is a kind of a synopsis of the thing right there before you now. So it's up to the board if you're interested. If you're not interested, then I've done my due diligence and put you on notice. So
Sounds like your recommendation is not.
that would be my recommendation,
Yeah,
of course.
That would be
You're
my
the body.
recommendation as well.
Pardon me?
That would be my recommendation as well. I think we've had enough litigation in the past couple of
Yeah.
years.
The second thing, so the board doesn't want to take any action on that. Okay? The second is I need approval of, to participate in the Pardue bankruptcy plan and settlement with the Sackler family based upon a recommendation of the same by the Romana Law Group, who represents the county in the opioid, litigation process that's ongoing. As a matter of fact, I got an email back on this thing, just a couple of days ago from Mr. Romano. He says, we recommend that your subdivision elect to participate in this settlement by signing the participation form. It must be signed by an authorized representative of the subdivision, must be submitted by September the 30th, 2025. What we need to do if the board wants to move forward with that, which I think that the board has, on all the other, requests, has essentially gone with the advice of their counsel, the Romano Law Group. They've sent all this stuff by email and it's DocuSign, and I went back and checked my records. Initially, we started out with Bill Martin as the signing party. He signed several of these, but we had put them on notice that Tommy was now our chairman. So I think what we have to do, if you agree, is let Richard and Karen through your office sign it. I think probably it should be sent back to me or straight to Mr. Romano so he can put it on his list, and then he will forward it as well. And I can forward all of this to you tomorrow so that you'll have it in your possession if you choose to do it. But my recommendation is that you follow the advice of your counsel that's handled this thing for us for this long.
Explain something to me.
Okay?
This opium lawsuit and everything, did it cost the Slacker family to go bankruptcy?
Did it cost what now?
Did it cost the Slacker family to, I don't understand.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely did. Absolutely did. They're the company that developed this Purdue pharmaceutical empire known as the Sacklers. And all these different litigations and lawsuits, they're in bankruptcy. And so therefore, I can't speak of how much they retain with them having to undergo this bankruptcy proceeding. But the whole operation encompass billions and billions of dollars throughout the United States. And a lot of, counties, states, municipalities are involved in this lawsuit, as you are.
They are, I didn't vote for it.
Well, I know you didn't vote for it, but we've been receiving quite a lot of money from the settlement through Richard.
I never agreed with this, because they make drugs to help people. You can't help if people abuse them, but yet you don't punish the drug people. It ain't done nothing but make your cost of medicine go up.
Well, I don't know if you can speak to that, Gary, because you don't know. I think part of the lawsuit really actually stated that they induced people to take those drugs by the way that they promoted them through the different people that distribute them.
They promote
that's-
them as not being, addictive, and yet they're very, very addictive.
There were a lot of things that we
There were
can't
some
really
other
speak
things.
of here in this meeting because we don't know the long and the short of it, but I think that was the underlying basis of the initial lawsuit against the Sacklers, was the fact that people were unaware of how addictive these drugs were, and there was a mass distribution of that without having the knowledge, perhaps.
Kind of
that
like
maybe
a
we
tobacco
should've done.
company with the cigarettes and the can.
The funds we receive from these settlements, how are they, they're restricted, right, to,
You want to speak to that, Richard?
Yeah, they are all deposited into, the opioid account, which is like 135.
Mm-hmm.
And the proceeds from that are used to reimburse, the, community paramedic program.
The six, I say the community paramedic program runs off of it.
What is the drug that?
yeah, helps with addiction issues, yeah.
So there's specific ways to be able to spend that money, but it's restricted in that fund until we determine what we're gonna use.
But we did find a use for it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Community paramedic.
Right.
Well, my understanding is that this Purdue Sackler settlement has been worked out among all the parties that are involved, and our attorneys, Eric Romano from the Romano Law Group, has recommended the board participate in this. Of course, that's a decision that's up to the board.
So we've been involved up to now, right? So I'm supportive of continuing and following our legal advice on that. Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion for Commissioner Smith and a second from Commissioner Sharon Langford to continue, with the law group to represent Gilchrist County in the Sackler family bankruptcy plan. Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Aye. We have, motion passed 4-1.
5:30.
Have a 5:30 time, sir.
Yep, we got a 5:30 time certain, resolution 2025-19. Sir, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Brandon Stubbs of North Florida Professional Services. So y'all aware of Senate Bill 784, which was, basically kind of took the hometown rule away from adopting or approving final plats or replat. Did take away the Board of County Commissioners' ability to regulate subdivisions or, approve preliminary plat for construction plans. So what it has done is it preempted the board and designated the county administrator or a executive administrator, as the person who is responsible for signing off on final plats that use chapter 177.091. So, we are currently in the works working with Mr. Crosby and Mr. Lane and we have a draft, that they've reviewed. We're making some final changes and send it back, to actually get the revised process for subdivisions in your LDRs to match Florida building code, for Florida statute. In the meantime, we have this resolution so that we keep in compliance with the, requirements of Florida statute to designate, Mr.
Crosby or his or her designee as the administrative authority, to approve final plat. The other thing that, you know, basically it's just a temporary Band-Aid until we get these LDRs changed. And, so, and it reflects in here that once we get the LDRs changed and I'll get them approved, that this basically becomes overboard after that. But in the meantime, we have to have a mechanism for the county administrator or his or her designee to approve final plats, replats, should there come any available. We haven't had any in a little while, but doesn't mean somebody might not submit one tomorrow. Cause there has been some talks about some subdivision, we've had some pre-acts with some people. But, again, we just want to make sure we cover our bases. So, if you would like, I'll read resolution 2025-19 by title only.
No, it says that him or his designee, so he could appoint somebody.
Correct, he could appoint us,
It gives him authority to do it.
correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Resolution 2025-19, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, designating the county administrator as the administrative authority to receive, review, and process final plat or replat submittals, designating the land development regulation administrator as the responsible administrative official for approving conditions or denying proposal for the final replat. And under, it says, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, that the county administrator or his or her designee is hereby designated as the administrative authority to receive, review, and process final plat or replat submittals as provided for and required in chapter 177.071 Florida statute. And, that gives Mr. Crosby the ability to approve them or designate review.
Brandon, the main purpose was to streamline the process and reduce a step or two.
Yeah, it's kind of speed things up.
Yeah.
We haven't had really any issues in North Central Florida, but down in South Florida, they're having issues where you have a developer go through preliminary plat, construction plans, go construct everything on site, and then come back to final plat approval. And all of a sudden you have all the people showing up in protest and don't want it, and then they're trying to deny the final plat, which at that point is, you know, kind of, it's almost by right. I mean, you have a right to subdivide your property as long as you meet the requirements of the comp plan LDRs and Florida statute. And so that's what was happening. People were being held up and going, what? Wait a minute, I got tens of millions of dollars in infrastructure and now you're telling me you're not gonna approve my final plat?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and plus they were getting backlogged, big time.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, if you go down around Orlando and look at some of the development going on there, I mean, the county planners would be 6 months, 8 months, 10 months behind.
Mm-hmm. So what happens is now if a developer comes, submits an application for a subdivision, has a preliminary plat, has a construction plan, your engineers approve it, your planning and zoning board, your board approves the preliminary plat, construction plans, then they can go on and move forward with the final plat. If they bond it, or they could move forward with the final plat after the construct. But either way, it would be an administrative function as long as you met the, you know, obviously you met the criteria because you got preliminary plat and construction plan approval. So if they've done the construction and they've had all their inspection approvals and all that and done everything they need to do, the final plat should just be a formality. That's what it is. It does speak that the state has now taken some home rule away from local government. I believe in home rule, but, you know, there was a valid point while the state was trying to do this, but unfortunately some bad acts, down south have caused everybody to lose their home rule, on this. There's another one that I actually would like to mention while I'm here, and that's Senate Bill 954. And that deals with, what the state's calling, I'm not sure I get the actual term right, but it's called a, recovery residence. And it's under chapter 397, it's called a recovery residence. And I'm looking into this, gonna talk with Bobby and Mr. Lang about this, because I think this is gonna require some revisions to your LVC. Because currently in all of your agricultural districts, you have recovery homes or recovery house or treatment homes, which are very similar to what they're defining here in Florida statute, as special use permits. So this is saying that basically you cannot deny them, and you have 60 days to issue a permit. There's no way to get to a special use permit within 60 days, that's not possible. We'll have to come up with some way to figure out what exactly the state's referring to when they're talking about this, how does it affect your LDRs, and what, fixes that we'll need to do in order to make it in compliance. So that's another thing I'll kind of sit down. I just want to be, that's how I'll be aware of it, because we may have some other things coming down the line, or might have to have a workshop in the future. Sorry, I digress. For this resolution, 2025-19 would, temporary correct the issue, under Senate Bill 782.
Okay, any public comment? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the
I
board?
move to approve resolution 2025-19.
Second.
Mr. Chair, if we could just have that include correcting a typo on page 2. It says duly adopted and voting by the city commission. We just need to change that to county, and we have the ability to change it over here if the board agrees.
Okay.
With the so mentioned, change on the.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve resolution 2025-19 with the, added changes to the. I think. Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, that's all our time certains. Mr. Lang, you have anything else?
Nothing else.
Okay, Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First item on my report is a recap. This is through July 29th. A little over 80% of the year completed. Year-to-date expenditures in the general fund has been $25,475,000 versus revenues of $20,875,000. Again, you'll recall that we've transferred $3.5 million to the capital improvement fund for the solid waste project. Moving on to fire, we've had year-to-date expenditures of almost $1,100,000 versus revenues of $1,725,000. In the road department, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $2,793,000 versus revenues of $2,089,000. And as I mentioned in our workshop earlier, we're going to be discussing a loan request for the road department shortly after this. Moving on to EMS, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $2,068,000 versus revenues of $2,552,000. And finally, in solid waste, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $941,000 versus revenues of $1,293,000.
Why is the, SHIP program, it's meant to be 350, we only see 47,000. Sir?
Funding was to replace the homes that were destroyed during rebellion. They thought it was qualified for their foster home, but little did the Belfast folks know that money for
Economic.
folks did not know that the Florida Housing Corporation was going to say, oh, you need to get that money back. It was, 315,000.
Yeah, I wrote it.
Yeah.
Plus interest.
Plus interest. Plus the interest, like you said.
Okay.
Any other questions? No other questions. The next item is, we'd like to request that we go out to bid, for a $400,000 loan for the equipment that we purchased in the road department this year. Will help us get closer to, even in the road department. As you know, we've had a lot of, expenditures that were, not anticipated with the road, the rock crusher. That has taken us, it has the potential to take us over budget this year. Again, we purchased $400,000 in equipment. It was two, Mack trucks. And, if we go ahead and get go out for a loan, it doesn't require you to actually take out the loan, but I'd like to go out for bid, get some numbers, so that we can look at it and make a determination on whether or not we should, go ahead and take out the loan.
What do you think the interest rate would be, just to have any idea?
I'm hoping somewhere around 4%. That's what I used for our budgetary numbers.
Right.
And I'm requesting that we take it out for bid for a 5-year loan.
5 years?
The equipment that we
$400,000 for 5
purchased, the equipment we purchased should last us closer to probably 10 years.
Yeah.
But I think a 5-year loan would be pertinent.
And did you say when you did this, you did it with,
Correct.
considering what we're gonna?
It's
do?
assuming the budget that you're looking at for next year, the proposed budget is assuming that we did the loan for the 400,000. So it's adding to the road department fund balance based on that loan. And we also budgeted, a loan number based on those assumptions. So
there's
if,
more benefit of leaving the 400,000 in the fund balance than the loan and the cost of the loan.
correct, that's my anticipation, is we can get a little bit better rate on the loan than what we're currently earning in interest. So now that is subject to change, but again, it's
So if
something.
we're receiving 5 on it, yet we can get a loan for 4, we're gonna make %.
Correct. We're not quite under 5, but we are over 4. So to me, it makes sense based on the expenditures, to do that. And again, at this point, it doesn't really obligate you to do anything other than basically we're to take it out to bid with our local lenders and find
Yeah,
out
what
what
we
they're
got.
willing to do. And if the loan makes sense, we'll bring it back and the board will either approve or deny it
We'll have more information.
based on the information, but we won't know until we take it out to bid.
Right.
Motion approved if we quit.
Okay.
Second it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve the request to go out for bid for a $400,000 loan for the road department. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
And that concludes my report.
Okay. Your commissioner report. Mr. Sheriff?
Yeah, I've been getting lots of phone calls about roads, and on Friday I was on the phone call, had called and turned in a work order, and I asked, where the grader was today, and I was told that we do not have graders on Fridays anymore. I know we used to have graders on Fridays, and I would like to see these roads being graded on Fridays.
I think Friday they've been doing special projects, haven't they, Bobby?
Yeah, they do a lot of special projects and stuff.
We used
Not
to have,
everybody works on Friday, but.
we used to have 2 people on graders, and I want to see 2 people on graders on Fridays. My phone has been blowing up with a complaint.
Well, you gotta take 2 graders off Monday to put them on Friday.
We'll have somebody else, don't we have somebody else that can run the graders? And that's another thing, when somebody's off, we need somebody that can get on these graders and so they're not just sitting there.
Mr. Chair, if I could comment. We just completed the workshop and right now our proposed budget's $1 million deficit. We're transferring $1.2 million this year to road department. I just mentioned that we're in the road department. We are currently, we spent $2.8 million and received 2 million in revenues. With us transferring $1.2 million and us talking about getting a $400,000 loan. And what we're talking about here is increasing expenditures.
No, I'm talking about having no additional employees. You know, and like we used to do, we used to have, like, 2 people would take off on Monday instead of Friday. That way, 5 days a week, these graders are going.
So I think currently you do 4 10s. Is that
And
correct?
somebody, 2 people would take off on a Monday instead of a Friday then. Because we used to have 2 people grading on Fridays. I just know, I don't know about y'all, but I've been getting a lot of phone calls.
Yeah,
I haven't got any.
I haven't either. I've ridden around my area and it's pretty good shape, but I would suggest, Bobby, maybe can y'all evaluate what Mr. Langford's saying?
I'll be happy to answer the question.
Okay, go ahead.
Just need that opportunity. We have 5 graders. They run 4 days a week. We have 5 districts. There's a grader in each district. We did have a time when somebody was off, but we didn't have enough people trained. But now we do have someone else trained who can fulfill that place when somebody's on vacation or something. We will grade however y'all want us to do it. It doesn't matter to us, but here's the thing. You either gotta say, we're gonna grade on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and we're gonna do Friday, so you're still grading 4 days a week, no matter how you do that, or you got to say, okay, if we don't get the limbs trimmed, or we don't get the signs done, or we don't get the trash picked up, or we don't get other things done in the road department that we do with other people, roads mowed, that's gonna be okay. So when we get a phone call, we're not getting that done because we're using somebody to do it, or you've got to hire additional staff to do it. And I don't mind, I don't care.
Well, we gave the road
I don't care
department
how we
additional
do it.
staff. We gave road department additional staff.
You did, and the
Right.
reason you gave them additional staff is because they didn't even have enough people to do
Right.
what we were being requested to do. And I mean, we were working,
How many employees do we have right now at the road
I
department?
think right now, I'll need to go back, it's 23.
We've got budgeted 24.75.
We have 24, because y'all asked me not to fill the .75 position.
So and 23 are filled, do we have 23 employees right now?
Right now, I think we have, 23 active, because we have 1 out on medical. And we just got 2 of those positions filled, because we had 2 that left and went to,
And we have 24.75 right now.
no, ma'am, I think we have 23 active workers.
No, but we could have 24.75.
I can't hire an additional person.
I know that, right.
We have 1 out
Yeah,
who,
okay.
on medical leave, and, you know, there's rights out there for those people.
Hmm.
We
Right.
can't, yeah.
Oh, I understand that. So we're about we about have filled all of our
Yes.
vacancies. That's what I'm trying to get to.
And we have we can do it any way you want, but if it rains during the week and those people have to be off, they come in and work Friday. Because they missed a day of work, so they come in and work. And we do that. And it doesn't matter what day we kind of change it to. Like, for instance, the weather was pretty good last week, but we got a lot of rain Sunday. So if we'd have had 2 people grading Friday that didn't come in today, but we never know the weather patterns. We never know. And these guys are working hard to try to get these roads.
It rained 3 times at my house yesterday.
And listen, I understand it. The main road that you're getting the calls on, Miss Sharon, I rode last night at 7 o'clock because I wanted to see what that road looked like after the rain Saturday and the 2 rains Sunday. I went and rode that road last night and I got with them this morning and we talked about it. But we're working towards trying to improve some of these. One of the problems on some of these roads are drainage. We got 2 roads we're working on drainage projects now. We'll have the engineering, but we're not gonna be able to do the work until after October because we don't have the money in the budget to do it with.
So drainage, you're talking about that road also?
Yes,
About
ma'am.
where the solar, people gave it the right of way?
Yes, ma'am. And we found out we're not gonna be able to put it in their pond. We're gonna have to do something different on the other side of the road. Cause if we do, we gotta go re-permit their pond.
But it's gonna be until after October before we get to do that?
unless y'all wanna pull money out of general.
I know, don't wanna do that.
We did, I mean, you can see the shape that road department's in right now. We're gonna try to be ready to do it the first part of October, but we don't have the money in there right now to do it.
I've got
And
one,
listen, one thing I've figured out about roads. There are so many scenarios, I don't know if there is 100% right answer, and we want to get them better. There's some of these roads, and that's why I want to talk with the commissioners when we get it, if we make it through if the chip and seal makes it through the budget. I think that's the best avenue on these roads that we have to go to a lot. It basically takes time you buy a grader, put fuel in it, and pay a person to run it. You're looking at a couple $100,000 a year to operate a grader. So as we can start moving towards getting roads, we don't have to grade. You know, we'll start cutting that back. Maybe next time you get graders, you don't need but 4, you know, and that type of thing. But, I'll be happy, and honestly, we will, staff-wise, we're not trying to resist any way anybody wants it done. But when they're set up to work 410s, I'm not sure how long they've been working that for years. But if we change that around, now if we pull people to grade and make a 5th day grading, we can do that, but that means there's other work that is not going to get done.
And I didn't say nothing about going to 5 days a week. Just
No,
say,
ma'am,
I don't want that to be thrown out there and everybody
No.
think that I'm
I understand
trying to make them
that.
work 5 days now.
I understand that, but,
I've got one road text in the last couple of months, and it was very positive. He said the young grader, was doing an excellent job. He said, this is the best my road has been in a long, long time. And I texted him back and said, thank you. I get very few of these.
we got a gentleman that's working for us now, and hasn't been with us but maybe 5-6 months, maybe a little longer. But he had 30-something years as a finish grader. He retired. That's why we got him, and we wouldn't have it because we couldn't afford it.
He's doing a good job in North.
He started training all of our new people, and it is making a difference. And, but however this board wants us to move to doing that, I'll be happy to do it.
Yeah, Bobby, I think we've got very good leadership in the road department. My experience is they've been very responsive. I had one text a week or so ago. The next couple of days, they had it taken care of. And I think they're trying to do that everywhere. And that's not to say you don't have some issues.
Who do you contact at the road department?
David Reed, or
Well, I was told not to contact him.
I'll
I
call,
was told that we had to contact Rodney.
and I'll call Rodney.
But you contact David some also?
Both.
Okay, I don't, cause I was told not to.
Okay.
Well, Rodney's the one we try to use because he tries to focus on handling what y'all need done as quick as we can get it done. Because sometimes David are out working with trees and other things and he doesn't get to the phone as quick.
Yeah, I saw David with the trimming crew
Yeah.
on 232 on Friday.
Yeah.
And so he's down there working on that.
Yeah, I always call Rodney.
I call Rodney.
I always get a quick response from him.
That's why. we
Last
try
time I called him, he did it right that day.
And we try
Within an
to,
hour.
but,
The problem we got, and everybody has it on dirt roads, you can grade it today,
And
you
it's
grade it
gonna-
on Friday,
It's gonna
and
rain.
Friday night, get 6 inches of rain.
and
It
it's gonna
doesn't
be
matter
right
how
back
good the
out.
grader is, that next day, it's gonna have water standing in it, and
I've washed
people are
out.
gonna complain about it, so.
yeah. And, well, when I rode that particular road last night, it had 3 or 4 spots that had pretty good washouts on it. That on Friday it didn't have,
You can't control that.
you know,
No, you really can't.
but
I just know from my experience with Rodney, I called in a complaint, and I asked him to go ride it, I said, you make yours see that bit more. Great,
Yeah.
do it, not put it on work for.
Yeah, Rodney, he'll go, I mean, today he went right out there today, cause I was told they weren't doing something right. And he went and took a video, that way I could show these people.
Okay.
So
Well, we've had a number of people anymore.
Rodney follows up good.
He does.
we've had a number of people anymore, which is fine, they may not have been home, so the grader hadn't been here. Well, we got GPS on every grader, we can tell you where it's at. what
And
time
I've had to
it
use
got
that
there, when
too.
it left. You know, and starting with our new graders, they're actually gonna have cameras. We can
And you can see the
Check.
grading.
just everything that they've done, which is gonna benefit when we have a storm, because they want all the roads graded, filmed. So, you know,
we've improved a lot and all that good stuff.
Yeah, you know,
And like Sherry, she's got a troubled road, I've got a troubled road, one half cold.
and that's the roads that we need to look at. If we approve the money for chip and seal, that's the roads we need.
Well, mine
to
gets
look at.
beat up during, farming season also because it's a cut-through road.
Yeah.
Well, we fixed to take care of Dickey Highway, that's gonna take
Yeah, that's.
all of my phone calls.
Well, and you know, like 80th is a bad road,
The bar road.
the bar road. And there's a good chance it's probably gonna get funded, but you gotta sit here and think, do you wanna wait 5 more years? Or would you rather go ahead in and chip and seal it because of what the expense you have to spend on it to maintain it?
Mhm.
You're probably ahead to go ahead and chip and seal it, even though it may get paved in 5, 6 years. Just because
Yeah.
you're increasing your base and and the other thing we have to think of, every time a dirt road turns to a paved road is quicker, we can get back around to make that cycle.
Game road now don't have to be graded anymore,
No,
so you can take that grading time and put it on another road.
And then everybody uses that one road, that one that goes out by Weeks Flea Market. They live in Waukesasa because it's a cut-through.
yeah,
And they get to the they can get to the Bronson Highway that way.
yes, ma'am.
And
And
if they would run that zipper on that road and back it, roll it out,
we did it. We did that road that way. That road is just so shaded.
But then
and
you had
everything else
farm-
that when it gets
You had
warm,
farm season that came along and beat it right back out.
dry quick enough, and it gets puddles in it. In some places, so we have nowhere to put the water, and then they go around the puddles, so then you know what I'm saying, you know as much about a dirt road as I do, but, all we're gonna do is keep going as hard as we can. And I will say this, though, if we have a blowout or a bad situation that's not passable or dangerous, we have people to come in and do that. And we will be coming in and doing that. It will not just not get done. So, if we got a rain Friday morning, 2 inches and started cutting roads out, well, we gotta have people coming in fixing roads. And that's,
My phone calls went from the road department to the building department.
Department to the building department.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I got a phone call about a building that I think
I'm working.
you're working, Mr. Crosby's working on that.
Okay. Rich Smith?
I was just gonna tell Todd, and Richard and Tanya, thanks for all the work on the budget. And otherwise, I know also you've completed the governor's, the DOJ report data, which took quite a bit of work.
On overtime?
Yeah. And so we appreciate all that y'all are doing for that.
Great.
I agree with, Daryl on y'all's work. Kudos, y'all have always done an absolutely phenomenal job. I actually took several weeks off and I haven't done that in a long, long time, so I was gone part of it, but I did, receive one phone call about noise on the river, and, they've taken some other ways of maybe taking care of the noise problem on the river. I had a phone call last night about a sinkhole in a road, which was not a sinkhole. What had happened is a gopher had dug a hole underneath the road from the other side, and the road fell in where the gopher was at one time had been living. So they just were gonna take a wheelbarrow load of dirt and dump it in that one. It would be fine. It wasn't a sinkhole, thank the Lord, because those can be, they can grow and cause more trouble. This was just a gopher hole that had fallen in. So, other than that, I haven't had many. I mean, rain and roads, normal stuff. Most people understand when you get 5 inches of rain, you're gonna have a washout here or a hole there, but everybody's been very, considering the heat and the things that have been going on, most people have been very, very polite about it.
Commissioner Thomas?
first thing I'd like to thank the board for the flowers and everything. And second, up there in your district, Donald Strickland, Northeast, 102 or something like that. Anyway, the map shows a private road or whatever, but I think we've been grading it over these years. Where's that at now? Donald Strickland, Tatterhoe. Oh, yeah. There's a creek off the road and they called me, and everybody up there's 80 years old or better, and I told them, roads or anything, but I think it would be graded forever, that's whenever the judge put the, whenever he did what he did in that area with all the crumble, I don't know if we dropped that road. Or what, but I talked to Bobby, I'll pull the court order and got it.
Have we graded it lately?
Well, Donald said we've graded it forever.
Is this the one that goes right by Mr. Adderholt?
No, it's when it goes down there where it tees, it goes each.
If we pull up the GPS system, will it show us grading it regular on a monthly basis?
No, that don't try to get with Rodney and Bobby maybe and go out there and ride and look.
Yeah, just cause the map shows it's not a county road, if we've maintained it for more than 7 years, it's about the prescriptive easement, it's ours.
But anyway, they went out there and helped them get the fruit tree out of the road for the people.
Well,
I think it has been graded.
well, the other thing is too, though, we've got roads that are not county maintained, just because there wasn't anybody living on them for years, but if we own them, we can still go get a tree.
That's
or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
that's, sometimes we have to determine that. Or we have to-
You wanna follow up on that then?
Yeah, when I get with Rodney and Bobby, see, and like Bobby said, we might need to redo a map. We didn't know the,
We're gonna redo a map, we got to.
see. But they got took care of them, but I'm still, I'm gonna meet with Don or see.
Anything else?
And I think some of y'all got some requests for some banners and stuff. I got one here after the meeting, we decide if we don't do it or not. Yeah.
Or can we bring our checkbook tomorrow and we can do it tomorrow?
Yeah,
Cause I mean, I would rather us just all do it together
yeah, we'll do it together.
We gotta be good on, right?
and we can bring our checkbook tomorrow.
Eat them all. Yep.
3 o'clock, right?
Yes.
3 o'clock tomorrow, Karen?
Yeah. Do you have the soccer one also, Kendrick?
Mine's for the church out here.
Okay.
Riverside.
Riverside.
Okay. Does anybody else have the soccer one?
I do.
Okay. Alright, so we'll just talk about tomorrow, bring checks.
Anything else, Mr. Cole?
No, I'm good.
The only thing I got, I received this plaque on behalf of the county down at the, PAC conference. It's from the Florida Sheriff's Association, C-25 SSA Cooperative Purchasing Program. And we placed third in that, and they gave us a nice plaque. I meant to do it at the last meeting, I forgot it, but I'll put it over here for everybody to take a look at, but,
There's one other thing I just wanted to mention, I don't know if anybody's interested, but the task force that's been working with, Valdosta on their wastewater is having a meeting on the 30th, and I'll be going down to that, so if you have any, you wanna know any information after the 30th on it.
I'd go with him, but I gotta work.
and again, I want to thank Richard and Todd and everybody that's done the budget process and Dodge program and everything else. And y'all make it real simple as far as interpretation and reading it and trying to understand it. You really got a lot of detailed work there that really, to me, is very, very helpful.
All the
And
time.
I know each department is constitutional departments, they break theirs down a little bit different than the others. And maybe we could, come up with a solution, they could all do the same thing, or basically, I guess it depends on their software, whatever program they got. But, some of them's a little more easier to understand than the others, but fantastic job, really is, good. Okay, anybody have anything else for the board?
Them that's got a decrease is really easy to understand.
Okay, public participation. Anybody else like to speak? Okay. We have a motion to adjourn from, Commissioner Smith and, second from Mr. Martin, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.